We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, folks. You're watching the Couples Academy Show, Ask the Experts. I am your boy, Roland.
And I'm Lakeisha.
And we're going to be taking your questions in today and trying to figure out where you need to be and what you need to do to enhance and encourage and further your relationship, that it can be the best relationship that you desire it to be. We want you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. This is where you can get all your knowledge. This is where you can get the expertise, information that you need to have a better relationship. Hey, listen, we all need some assistance in the things that we do. You can never do it alone. And this is your relationship village, right? So come and you can get what you need and get how much you need. How you doing today, Lakeisha?
Man, listen, it's Friday. I'm doing wonderful, Roland. I had a blessed week, a busy week, but productive week. So I'm thankful. How are you feeling today?
I am doing excellent, excited to be here. It's Friday, as you say. It is here raining in Georgia. However, it's sunshine where I am sitting right now because my heart is filled with sunshine and happiness. So I'm so glad to be here with you and happy to see you.
Roland. Tell the truth. Tell the people the real reason why your life is full of sunshine is because that wife you have, because she is sunshine. So tell the people, the truth. That's really what it is.
She is my latest and my greatest inspiration. She is the reason why my heart beats. Literally, she is the reason why. And so, yes, she is my sunshine. Janella Bradley is all that I have, all that I want, and all that I need and desire. So,
boom.
Hey, I put it out there. So that's what it is, and that's what it's going to be. So, yes, that is why my sun is shining over here. So listen, we're gonna get right into it.
You got those 2 beautiful boys too. That we'll talk about them a little bit. They sprinkled in there. You got those beautiful boys also. So
yeah. I have my 3 soon-to-be kings. I got them in here. That's my pride and joy right there. That's my namesake, my legacy. So yeah, that they make me happy too. They keep me busy, but they make me happy as well. So let's get right into it, Lakeisha. We have a couple questions. I noticed your boy, and I'm gonna let you take that one. Your boy Ben is here early in the morning, as he always is.
Hey Ben, good morning. Ben says, good morning from Detroit, headed back from a business guys trip. Still reading Open Her. Decent book. As an unfaithful, how do I readjust to back to slow family life? Okay, so how do I readjust slowly, getting back to family life? This is a really good question. And really, I think the context is, there's been an affair. So there's been some disconnection prior to the affair. And then now we're trying to figure out, how do we reconnect once we have recommitted to the marriage and to the relationship? And so it's an excellent question. And I know you're not the only one that has it. So thank you for asking. I think, slowly, which is what you're saying. You can't speed past what took place in the first place, and not acknowledging the issues that were going on previously that led up to the infidelity definitely will potentially put you back in the same headspace. So I think that you guys have to deal with what happened pre-infidelity, and then you have to process the infidelity piece. And then there are steps on this road to recovery. There's steps that we take you guys through, because you cannot do this by yourself. And, a lot of times, Roland, I don't know if you get this, but a lot of times I feel like when clients are courting Couples Academy, because that's what you guys do. When you show up in here every week, you're courting us, right? When you're watching the show and all of that, it's courting. So I think that while you guys are courting us, that, you know, I have gotten the impression sometimes that you guys think that we are here trying to sell you something. And it's really not about that. It's about the fact that we have been on a healing journey. We are still on a journey toward healing and transformation. And even though, you know, there's been past traumas that we've recovered from, we're still growing and evolving. We still want to be the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. One, first and foremost, for God. Secondly, for ourselves, and then for our spouses and our children, and then everybody else, right? But ultimately, we're wanting to be the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. So I tell you guys all the time, whether you choose to stay together or not, you still got to heal it. You still got to clean it up. So you're not carrying it around for the rest of your life. So we got to investigate what led up, the precursors and everything that led up to the brokenness of the marriage that opened the door for infidelity. Then we got to deal with the infidelity piece. And then after that, then we have to deal with, now on the back end of that, how are we going to move forward? And you guys are going to have to set new expectations. You're going to have to lay a brand new foundation, Ben. You can't keep pulling from the past. See, okay, I'm going to say this, Roland, and you got to chime in, okay? We have the right to choose, right? We can choose to continue doing the same things that we've been doing, meaning we're going to get the same results that we've always gotten, or we can choose to show up differently, to move differently, to think differently, to act differently, right? So when you choose not to heal and to deal with what you got to deal with, what you're doing is you're allowing your past to infect your present, which ultimately dictates what your future is going to look like. So it's up to you. You have a choice. What is it that you're going to do? Talk to my brother,
Hey,
Roland.
listen, Keisha, listen. You make it hard to come behind you, okay? I'm not going to do this with you today, okay? We're not going to do this back and forth and all that kind of stuff. I'm not doing this with you today, okay? You're dropping bombs all over the place, and then you want me to come behind you. What you want me to say after that? Okay, so
Well,
listen,
you're a
man. The
man.
fact of the
You're a
matter is,
man.
I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Hey, listen, Ben. The fact of the matter is, one, we have to be consistent. You have to make up in your mind to be intentional and to be consistent about what it is that you want to do. Secondly, you have to decide, to Lakeisha's point, what do you want your marriage to look like? How do you want things to be? I gave the example some time before. You can see a building, and the building looks like it's strong. It looks like it's standing well. It looks like everything is okay. But they have an inspector that has to go in, and the inspector noticed that the foundation is weakened. They noticed that there's been some termite damage. They noticed that some things are not in place. The structure on the inside is not set well. So what we have to do, Ben, we have to knock down the whole building, start over, and make it stronger than it was before. That's what you have to do with your marriage. That's what you have to do with your relationship. That's what you have to do with yourself. You have to be honest about yourself, have the hard conversation, and say, look, I have been weakened. My marriage has been weakened. And we have to get to a point where we need to start all over again. We need to build it up stronger than it was before. We need to hold on to a solid foundation and make sure that we build up one brick at a time to make sure that it is solid and it can withstand any storm. That's all I got for you. Okay. So
That was a microphone drop. There was a microphone drop.
Yeah.
Let me
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go.
Oh no, I
Finish
just was gonna say, Ben, so we have to just pull up our bootstraps, man, and let's get it. We cannot keep going around and around and around. At some point you're gonna have to stop this ride, get off, and say there's some malfunctions that need to be corrected.
I love it. I love it. Listen, we got to shout out the people. Good morning, Renita. Hi, Robin, Stephanie, Kimberly, Marilyn, Great Mom Goals, Kenny Burkett, Tori, Vashawn, Callie Power Couple, Miss Jewel. Hey, Team Smith in the house. What's up? Zales, Robin, C, Jenkins, Kathy. Good morning, Renita, Curtis, Stephanie. Boy, they in here today. Janita, is it? Welcome, Dark Knight. Welcome. Thank you guys for watching. We so appreciate you. Roland, you ready to jump into the next question?
Sure. Why not? I saw one. Okay, here we go. Now there's a couple of parts. I need you to help me with this one, Lakeisha. There's a couple of parts to Vashon's question. So he said, "Good morning," and not sure if this is a question to put out there, put out here, but here it goes. My wife's affair partner was killed last week. I didn't do it, and I feel a burden has been lifted off me and my where you at? My marriage with this particular situation. Am I going to hell for being happy about this? They were not physical involved for maybe 2.5 years, but she continued to have some type of contact with him through social media. We talked about this and she has no feelings in the matter, so she says, and she made no attempts to attend the wake and funeral. D-Day was 5 years ago. That's a
All
lot to
right,
unpack.
Vashawn. Whoa.
That is an
Whoa.
awful lot to unpack. And listen, let me just say this. I don't think that people realize the magnitude that they put themselves in when we step outside of the covenant of our marriage. I don't think we realize the detriment that we put ourselves in, that we put our families in when we step outside of our covenant in our marriages. So now you have this situation where a person, a fair partner, was killed, and feelings were involved, and they haven't had any contact. Now you're questioning if you're going to go to hell for feeling some kind of way because a fair partner got killed that you didn't have nothing to do with, allegedly, right? And so here we are now having to put ourselves dealing with emotions that should not be our concern. But because we stepped outside for whatever reason, now we find ourselves questioning our belief system, our values, because someone was injured, hurt, and now unfortunately killed. No, you're not going to go to hell for feeling some kind of way. And we don't know the circumstances surrounding why this person was killed, but that should not involve you, right? You want to make sure that your wife does not have any ties or any emotional attachments to this person being killed. Now, if your wife comes home and she's crying and bawling all over the place because this person is killed, obviously there are still some feelings involved that she had for that person. But there should not be any type of discord between the two of you. You all should be working on furthering your marriage in a way that you see and want your marriage to be. I mean that's the most I have with that situation, simply because it is an unfortunate situation, and it's things like this happen. It happens all the time, and there are stories after story after story where the side chick, the side piece, the side boy toy, and all this other kind of stuff gets killed, get injured, whether it be by the spouse, just by happenstance. We don't need to be stepping outside of our marriages, rubbernecking, shucking and jiving, looking hooing, because there are consequences to the actions that we do. And sometimes they are unfortunate, they are detriment, and some of them you can't get back. What you say, Lakeisha?
Vashawn, I got you, but I'm going to rope Stephanie into this conversation. Roland, I'm feeling everything you said. I love when you say shucking and jiving. I just love it. It just do something to me on my inside parts. Stephanie says, we decided to come back together after being separated for a month, but I just don't feel like the communication has stopped with the affair partner. He does leave his phone laying around. However, he used to do that before. He had ways of hiding it. He's 15 years older than me and feels me asking to see his messenger, etc. is something you do to kids. So I don't feel at ease. How do I get past this? So, Stephanie, I have a response to you that is very similar to what I'm going to say to Vashawn. The reason why you are feeling a certain type of way, Vashawn, is because there were no boundaries, or there weren't specific boundaries. Let me not say there were no boundaries, but they were not specific boundaries. We walk couples through a process of how to affair-proof your marriage. That is so necessary for you guys to do, because when we get married, oftentimes we don't have conversations about what our expectations are. We don't set certain boundaries because we feel like, well, the other person should just know. Like, you should just know that that's crazy for you to do, or that that's disrespectful or whatever. But if we don't talk about it, then the other person doesn't know. So, Vashawn, you said that your wife hadn't had any physical contact with the affair partner in 2 years. However, there was still a connection on social media. Well, again, had you been with us, we would have told you, cut it. You have to cut all communication, all ties. You have to end it, dead it, whatever terminology you want to use. Terminado, okay? El fin, the end, it's over, terminated, okay? It must be done, because what it does is it leaves a little crack. It leaves a little crack for that person to potentially one day walk right back into your spouse's life. So you have got to close that door. You got to lock it, seal it, so that there is no further communication. So that's why you're feeling a certain type of way, because there was still communication going on via social media. That's why you don't trust her when she's saying, I don't have any feelings, because in your mind, if you weren't thinking about this person anymore, if you were completely done with this person, you would have completely shut it down. And because she did not, it left room for insecurity. It left room for doubt. It left room for you to question what really is going on. So now, Stephanie, to you, it is not treating him like a child. It is not a violation. It's not inappropriate for you to be able to check his phone. He has violated your marital vows. He has broken your level of trust. And so because of that, you have every right and all authority to be able to check whatever it is that you want to check. If the Bible is saying that my body is not my own, and my husband's body is not his own, well, that cell phone, your email, your car, your bank account, whatever it is that you got, it's mine. Just like whatever I got is yours. So it is not wrong for you to have an expectation to be able to look at whatever it is that you want to look at, because he's broken that trust. And when you are truly remorseful, you're willing to do whatever it takes to restore and reestablish that level of trust.
Wow, Lakeisha, you are rocking and rolling on today. We're having a great conversation. Listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we're going to see you back on the other side.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Hey.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You're looking at Ask the Experts on this Friday. Listen, we're so happy over here. We just giddy and everything else. But we're here to help you guys. We're here to make sure that we answer your questions and make sure that we meet you where you are to get what you need. So we do have a couple more questions that we want to hit really quick. And we have
Hey, I just wanted to
Dark.
respond to Dark Knight K. He said, "Good morning, guys. Good morning, sir." He said, "Lakeisha, I appreciate your enthusiasm so much yesterday. You put a huge smile on my face. Hey, thank you for sharing. That is the goal every single day, to uplift, motivate, inspire, and encourage. And I'm going to try my best to give you that same energy today, as is my brother Roland." Curtis said, "Hey, my two favorite practitioners today, Roland. So you got a fan today, Mr. Roland. You got a fan."
All right. Somebody put me
You
on the
got a
ballot
fan.
and
Okay.
voted for me to be able to be a
Yes,
fan. That's
you
good.
on the ballot. You on the ballot. All right. Renita says, "We lost our groove for work day and play day. How do we get it going again without me nagging about it?" Man, Renita, I feel you on that one. You do not want to be nagging. I have a suggestion, and Roland, if you have anything to impart on Renita regarding this situation, please do. Renita, it's on my Google Calendar, sis. Me and my husband share a Google Calendar, workday play days on the calendar. And I send a calendar invite, he accepts. And so then the Google Calendar does the reminders. You can set it in a way where it can remind you a week in advance, 5 days in advance, an hour in advance. You can set as many reminders as you want. And so let Google do the nagging and not you. That's my suggestion. What you got, Roland?
Yeah, well, one of the things is when we sit down and we envision what we want our marriages to look like, and we know that workday and play day is a part of the envisioning of what we want our marriage to be. Now it's purpose driven, right? It's goal oriented. Now it is purposeful, and we can set aside the time. And listen, we have time for everybody else. We have time to do everything for everybody else. We have time for the workman, the workwoman, and everybody else. We have to put in the time and look at it as an investment into one another, to take out that time to invest in one another. Right? You're only going to get out what you put in. So if you be willing to see the change, to see the vision for your marriage, for your household, then you'll be willing to take out the time. And listen, work day does not have to be long and drawn out. You want to at least establish the fact that you have the work day. Let it be 30 minutes, let it be 1 hour, right? Until it gets to the point where you understand, hey, we're just checking in. This is what we have to do. This is where we are. This is where we're going. This is what we desire, right? And so things are not just popping up and it's catching you by surprise. You are prepared for it because you're on one accord, because you have the same vision, the same mindset, and you have you are on one accord. That's just the bottom line. So consistency is going to be the key. Let Google do the nagging for you so that you don't have to. All right.
Hey, Roland, Curtis said, "Let's go, Roland. Give that alpha male perspective. Set the structure." You see what I'm look. Tori said, "Come on, Roland, man. That's good." You see, Roland, you got fans, bro. Fans.
Listen, I just want to do the right thing and be where I'm supposed to be. That's all. Thank y'all.
Kenny said, "How do you as a married couple create boundaries such as social media, opposite sex friends, put family ahead of spouse, long work hours without it feeling like a punishment or resentment to the other?" So Kenny, some of what I said to, I think it was Stephanie, and oh my God, I'm horrible with names. Y'all forgive me. But Stephanie, I think, and Vashawn, it's similar to what I'll say to you as well. But with social media, I mean, that honestly, a lot of times it's the devil. Like, I'm just not even gonna lie to you. Like, there's so much happening on social media that you definitely have to guard your eyes, your ears, your mind, right, from what it is that's happening on social media. So I'll just tell you what I have in place. First of all, my husband's not on social media at all because he just don't want to be. And I am on social media for business and personal, but I don't have any male friends through social media that are not friends of my husband. And so I'm not communicating with anybody on social media of the opposite sex that is not a mutual friend or that my husband is aware of, because honestly, there's no purpose. There's no purpose whatsoever. Opposite sex friends, we don't have them. That was something that was established before we even got married. We don't have opposite sex friends. We have groups of friends. We have couples who are friends, And so that would be a husband and a wife, but it is a group type of thing. There is no, I just got a guy friend over here and he just got a female friend. No, we have couples that may be opposite sex, but we're all friends. And then putting family ahead of your spouse, you got to have boundaries there as well. Like, your home is your first ministry. And so it's God, spouse, children, then everybody else. That's the order. So when you get married, Bible says leave and cleave, right? So you got to leave them people and cleave to your spouse, because they're the ones that you are laying with every night. They're the ones that you're sharing your finances with. They're the ones that you are raising children with, if you have children. And so that's your partner. That is now your life partner, not your parents, not your other family. Like, your spouse is your teammate, and they should always come first. Working long hours, I do that, but I have a cutoff time. I have a cutoff. Like, I'm not going past this time of night, right, to do work. Or if I do, it's something we've already talked about and I get a pass, right, for me to be able to work later or whatever. Sometimes I'm working a whole weekend rolling. Sometimes, right, we have intensives. We're there Friday through Sunday. Those are long hours, 12, 14-hour days sometimes. So we've already discussed it and we have an agreement about what that's going to look like. And so you said without it feeling like a punishment or resentment to the other, there's probably resentment because you haven't been making your spouse a priority. And that's where the resentment sets in.
Listen, we have to take the advantage of making our houses, to make our relationships, to make our marriages protected like Fort Knox, right? We have to set the boundaries. We have to set the tone of what we're going to have in our marriages. Because my wife was reading the book, The Anatomy of an Affair, right? And we talk about the close call friendships, right? And when you allow just that little inkling, because men have this impression of, let me just push the envelope just a little bit. Let me use my charm. Let me use my, my finesse, right? To see how far this can go, right? And women have the same thing. And so when we play with those little small things, they become huge. And then you're wondering, how did I end up in this bed? How did I end up sleeping on this pillow? Because you played with something that you did not set a boundary to. When we get to the point where we understand the value of our marriages, the value of our relationships, the value of our spouses, we're not going to let just anybody come in. We're not going to do things the same way that we've been doing. Social media is the devil, right? Because it can be used for positive things. It becomes the devil when you allow devilish things to take place. It becomes the devil when you allow devilish thoughts to come in and take place, devilish activities to take place. So we have to set the boundaries for how we want to proceed with social media, proceed with opposite sex friends, same sex friends, right? We don't want to break the bond between our spouses, because to Lakeisha's point, that's who we live with. We live with our spouses. That's who we do life with. And we can't let outside people come in and tear that apart just for the sake of spending time with them, just for the sake of going hang out with them. We shouldn't do that, right? So we have to be intentional on how we set the boundaries for our relationships and our marriages.
Roland, I need you to help my brother Dark Knight K-Man. He says, guys, can you talk on the stigma faced by men who decide to go to therapy? I had an argument with an older gentleman who was also my coworker, and he blasted me saying I'm weak and I should be a man.
Hey, listen, being a man and knowing when to get help, humble enough, knowing when to ask, that makes you a man, right? And a lot of times what we get stuck is older does not make you mature. Older does not make you wise, right? So we have a lot of older people that have just grown old, right? They're not in the business of investing themselves. They're not in the business of still being teachable, right? When you get to the place that you are no longer teachable, you have just clocked out. You're just a dead man walking, right? And so I would say to you, Dark Knight, listen, you keep coming here, you keep sharing, now you're a part of Foundry. You will soon find out exactly what we've been talking about, right? And you will soon understand that being a man is more than just growing old. Being a man is just more than how much money you have in the bank. Being a man is more than what kind of car you drive and what size rims you have on that car, what kind of house you live in, what you can do for other people. Listen, being a man is much more than that. You have to be integral. You have to have some character about yourself, some decorum about yourself. You're going to think differently. You're going to walk differently. You're going to talk differently. And listen, I'm glad you put that out there, because so often men unfortunately think that we can just do it on our own. I got this. I got this. You know, the old story always goes about, I don't need no directions. I'll just figure it out. That's how we live life, just trying to figure it out. Nobody can't tell us nothing. I remember the story. The gentleman drove around 285 and kept seeing the welcome sign. He didn't saw the welcome sign 3 times because he's so prideful. He don't want to ask anybody, where do I get off? How do I get to this particular place? So we're gonna just keep driving around 285, the big circle in Atlanta, seeing the same welcome sign. I saw that welcome sign once before. We live our lives the same way. We don't want no help. We don't need no help. I got this. No, you don't got this. You don't got it. That's all I got, Lakeisha.
Well, y'all better watch out. Rolling on Fire. We got time for one more. Rose said, how do I get over the hatred I feel towards the affair partner? We all work together and my boyfriend is not having any contact and is 100% into repairing our relationship. So Rose, let me say this to you, sis, and thank you for your transparency. The reality is you cannot do it on your own. You got to rely on something that is bigger and stronger and more powerful than you. You have got to pray and ask God to help you to release it. You know, sometimes the anger is misguided and misdirected, right? We're taking things out on the affair partner that really is our anger and bitterness and resentment toward our partner, right? But we forgiven them. So the reality is this: if you forgiven him, then you got to forgive her. That's the truth. And the reason why you forgive everybody is because God forgives you. And it's the right thing to do. And if you keep holding on to bitterness, anger, resentment, and unforgiveness, it's like a cancer that spreads, and you can't control where it spreads, how far it goes, and how soon it's going to kill you. But I promise you this, you will die if you don't release it.
That's it. You said a whole mouthful, and I hope that it's been received. I hope that we were able to help you guys. I hope that we were able to answer all your questions today and impart into you the things that you need. You've been watching the Couples Academy show. Hey, listen, before we leave, I do want to thank all of our veterans. Today is Veterans Day. I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to thank you for protecting us so that we can live and do the things that we do each and every day. So to all of our veterans, thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you guys on the next run. Talk to you later.